Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Silverfox Hustle podcast. This is episode number 73. And as you already can see, I've got a special guest with me. Actually, we've got two guests with me today. My fellow host for today, take it away.
Hi everyone, this is Vance here. I'm from Kopi and today I'm very happy to be with Sashi. And today we are going to rock the show with our guests.
Yep. Van is a fellow podcaster who specifies or specifically talks to guests who are medical experts, and today we've got an expert with us today. And as for myself, you all know that I interview guests who inspires, and today, what better way to kill two birds with one stone? We talk about the medical expert as well as someone who can inspire. Van, you want to introduce her to us?
Yes, we have a guest speaker who's just sitting in front of us. I mean, she's smiling. I think she's getting warmed up right now. She's Nurhafizah Abdul Sajid, and she's the head physiotherapist for FAS and LCS, and bags with lots of experience and having been a physiotherapist since 2003. So how many years is that?
I can't count.
15 years, 16 years, okay, I'm
Too long.
Yep. Places like she's been with CGH and Ministry of Defence, Singapore Sports Institute and FAS, and now Lion City Sailors. Apart from her work, which is a top class, she's a sort of a sister figure to all the footballers whom she has treated and nursed many players back to health with her works.
Welcome to our podcast, Fizah.
Thank you very much.
Fizah, don't be shy. Just be yourself. And to warm up a little bit, how has it been with the LCS? Because I hear, actually you've been with LCS for about a year or so.
Yeah, that's right. It's been about a year.
Yeah, and how has the experience been like?
Okay, it's been a roller coaster, I have to say.
Okay.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Because LCS, you have to have, a lot of expectations have to be
Yep.
met. It's quite challenging day to day. A lot of expectations. It means a lot of responsibilities, a lot of goals you have to achieve. Yeah. But this, expectations are all basically, they are quite stressful, but yet it pushes you to do better.
Right. And of course, they are, I wouldn't say they are the best club in Singapore at the moment, and it comes with pressure, and you got to live with the pressure, right, Van?
That's right. But I'm going to jump into the question right now. Are you ready? You want to do some work? You already warm up ready, right? So Shashi has already warmed you up. So I'm going to go into the intensity part right now, which is the questions. You have been in this profession for a very long time, and you started your formal education in physio since polytechnic days.
Yeah.
How exactly you started your journey in this direction?
I think it started when I was in secondary school. Actually, I wanted to be a nurse. I remembered this particular incident because I followed my dad, overseas with this soccer team.
Okay.
So he has his own soccer school. So I remember I think it was Coach Jasni Hatta who had a knee injury.
Right.
And that's how I actually helped to, sort of take care of him during that trip. So then it sort of inspired me, okay, maybe I should help people and, take nursing as, one of my course, after O levels. Surprisingly, I did very well for my O levels. So my mom said, I think you should go to JC instead. And with my experience, in terms of, because I played netball then, so I had encountered a few physiotherapists.
Okay.
So if I cannot be a nurse, I think the next best thing is to be a physiotherapist. So
Alright.
that's why I actually went to junior college to get my A levels. So for me to be able to go to
Right.
Polytechnic for my.
I hear two things here right now, Fizah. One is that you wanted to help people, and another part where you feel, you all involved in sports.
Yeah.
So is it the reason why you are where you are right now?
I should think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you said you wanted to be a nurse at first, right?
Yeah.
So why not just pursue in that direction instead of now branching out? That's a very interesting thing.
My mom was against me. She thinks that nursing is a dirty job.
Okay.
Then.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, but I think she said that with my good results, I can actually qualify for better courses.
Right. When you say dirty, means handling, like.
You have to clean.
Okay.
The patients.
Any regrets for your side? On your side?
No, I think I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm still helping people, I hope.
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think your mom was actually protecting you.
I think
Don't you
so.
say that because she doesn't want you to
Yeah.
do all the hard work, We know that nurses work very long
Right.
hours
Yes.
and they have to really carry and, shower and so forth. So I think she was actually
I think she
protecting
was
you
trying to
in a
protect
sort,
me.
right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
And also you played netball.
Yeah.
Do you play very competitively or you just playing with schools or?
Yeah, I think I was. I
Okay.
was, representing the country. Yeah, so I was playing competitively then.
You're still playing now. I just recently chanced upon
Yeah.
your Instagram post.
Yes,
You're
yes.
still playing like socially, is it?
It started only recently when
Right.
my few of my netball mates back in GC and club,
Right.
asked me, "Hey Fizah, you want to join?
Yeah.
Game?" I said, "Okay, let's do it."
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I got to ask her this, Sachi.
Sure.
Do you ever, for netball, like minimum 1.7,
Ah,
1.8? Because usually you see they are very tall.
Yes.
So is
Not
there
in Singapore.
Oh, okay. Is there?
What was
Is that a requirement for the height?
No.
Okay.
You can be short, but you can be agile and you can be the
So
fastest.
you can jump high.
Yeah.
You are the agile one now.
I hope so.
Now, this is a question I wanted to ask. Right, you grew up in or with sports royalty in Singapore.
Okay.
Right, you are. Tell us who you are first. If you want to tell us,
Yeah.
okay, I will tell the guests, right, or the people at home. You're actually related to Mr. Fandi Ahmad,
Yes.
whom was my guest in just the previous episode, right? So you are his.
Cousin.
Right. How was that like growing up? And as you were growing up, right? Was there like pressure to?
I don't think there was any pressure. In
Right.
fact, it was more like idealization.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
because I think then my father, I think he was quite sort of close to Fandi,
Yeah.
and my mom was close to. I mean, it is close to his mother.
Yeah.
But we hardly see Fandi Ahmad because he's always overseas.
Right.
When he's around, it's probably during big occasions like Hari
Okay.
Raya and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's always the most jovial amongst the family members,
Okay.
and he still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I get closer to him during my days in
Yeah.
Lions 12, whereby I work very closely with him.
Right.
Yeah.
You talk about that, right? And I also know your brothers as well, right? And did they also grow up like idolizing him as well, and that's why they are where they are today, because obviously Hafiz is playing right now,
Yes.
and your brother was playing for a bit, and I know him from IT, right? So did they get inspiration for Fandi as well?
I'm very sure.
Yeah.
Because Fandi Ahmad, I mean, he's a legend,
Right.
and I think there is a reason why he's a legend. I
Yeah.
think in terms of his dedication, his discipline,
Right.
towards football, it's amazing. you know.
Nice.
Not many can emulate that kind of traits that he has. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And Fizah, to be a physiotherapist, there must be a certain number of years of education, and usually, physios repair people or you fix people.
I hope so.
What do you do? Repair or fix? Is it both the same?
I think repair and fix is probably almost the same.
Okay.
Yeah, we try our best.
Right.
Yeah, but basically it's repair, fix, also educate them.
Right.
Yeah.
And prevention also.
Exactly.
There you go. Tell us the qualification needed to be a full-fledged physiotherapist
Okay.
and the modules you took.
In Singapore, you need to have your degree. Now it's degree because previously, when I first started my seniors and all that,
Right.
we had to go through A levels first before we can go to the Nanyang Polytechnic to do
All
our
right.
diploma. And after that, we actually convert our degree overseas,
Okay.
University of Sydney.
Okay.
But now, I think the juniors, the current physios are luckier. They have the SIT for them to actually take their degree immediately.
So that's about 5 years?
In Singapore.
Yeah, in Singapore
Right.
for 4 years.
4
Yeah.
years. Okay.
My question is why do you have to take an A levels before you do your so when you
Yeah.
A levels and then do your diploma? What is the thinking behind that?
I think it's because it's almost similar to a university
Right.
called coursework.
Okay,
Yeah, so it requires you to have your A level, like biology and things like that.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And the kind of modules that you took,
Oh, interesting stuff. Biology,
right?
things like physiology, biomechanics, human kinetics, So it's a lot of, many things,
What was your toughest?
My toughest, I have to say, is my biomechanics.
Right.
I hated that.
Good because I hate physics.
Yeah. I
Okay.
hated that.
I can
hated
feel
that.
it already right
You know,
now.
when I did my sports science as well, biomechanics was the worst.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And day to day, you have different challenges.
Of
The
course.
most challenging period you ever faced.
Now,
Yeah.
oh, I,
Like, long
many.
hours.
I mean, okay, of course, the long hours,
Yeah.
but I think it's at the end of it's still making that decision
Right.
for a player to return to train, return to
Okay.
play, because I think there's a lot of expectation, especially when your player is, he's a very he's a what do you call that, the first 11, or
Right.
he's
The star play.
as the star player,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and then you have to make sure that it's always at his best interest for him to be able to train, to return to play,
Right.
and also there are expectations from the coaches
Okay.
and the player themselves. So sometimes it's should I or should I not?
All right.
It's a very good question, no, right?
Yeah.
You talked about the long hours, and you spoke about the long hours as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an off day, not right now? Tell us the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I try my best. Half
Yeah.
day is also off
But
day for me.
but there is no like specific off day, right? There is no specific off day. The reason is right, Van, because you're part of LCS, right?
Yes.
You do get calls even, right? Like on your so-called off days.
Yes,
Like,
we do.
okay, I have a problem, or even the national team setup. I
That's
have a
right.
problem with this, and you got to go back and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
So you like a 24-hour standby?
I think so.
Or not really 24, maybe a 12-hour standby?
That's actually crazy, right? Long hours, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So she must be mentally prepared, physically prepared as well.
Everything, man.
Everything I can think of.
Wow.
Okay, actually, I'm going to ask her this toughest question, right? I know there's 206 bones. All right? I was doing some Googling, all right? And I also know there's some saying that 750 muscles, some are saying 700, some are
You
650.
did your research.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But what is it? Is it 206 bones you got to remember? And 750 muscles you got to remember as well?
As much as yes.
Wow.
I remember them.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's like it has to come with experience and all that.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't come just like within that year, remember everything. I'm still learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Sachi, there's a very funny bone in our human body. Do you know that?
Yeah, I know there's a funny bone,
What is it called?
but I don't know what is it called.
Ah,
What is it?
gotcha.
What is it called?
What is
I
that?
don't know.
Okay, I remember it, right?
What,
Because
what,
I did
what?
some Googling before I came. It's humorous.
Oh, okay, fine.
Right, see? I'm well prepared for
That's
this.
corny. That's corny. You talk about your mom objecting to the nurses bit, right? Now, how about physiotherapy? Was there any objections, like, when you wanted to take up physiotherapy, like, because especially in the male dominant
Yeah.
sports, especially, okay, maybe netball not so bad, right, if you are a physio there.
That's right.
How about in football wise, in general?
Yes, of course, there were obstacles. There were, a bit of objections and things like
Yeah,
that.
from whom?
From maybe family members.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess I am very lucky.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I've got good support from my mother, my husband.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
and even my brothers, because Hafiz is in the setup. Natzi used to be in the setup.
Yep.
So we know what is this soccer all about.
Right.
Yeah. So
Nice.
with them supporting me, it's rather smooth sailing, and whatever obstacles or objections that I faced, I think we went through them, together as a family. Yeah.
Great. And you talk about all these, right? And I asked Fandi the same question last week or 2 weeks ago, about critics. Like, people talk bad about him, or you listen to things. Have you heard of anything about yourself in terms of the work that you do, that is?
I'm sure they
You heard them, yeah?
probably, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
I mean, of course, I take that feedback, or
Yeah.
positively.
Okay.
And then I reflect.
Yeah.
What could I have done better?
Right.
As a therapist.
Nice.
Nurhafizah, in terms of physiotherapy, all right, we all know physio, right? When you got an injury, or you want to go there for strengthening. But how many types are there in terms of physiotherapy? I mean,
There are types?
There are many types, right?
Okay, tell us.
Yeah, many types.
Yeah,
I guess so.
It's also myself. When
Yeah.
I first started, I thought it's just sports physiotherapy.
Okay.
So when I actually start school, with internships, there's actually more than that.
Right.
It's cardiopulmonary, whereby you deal with your pulmonary. I mean your lungs,
Okay.
your heart.
Right.
You have things like geriatric, whereby you deal with the older people
Right.
generation.
Yeah.
You also have neuro rehabilitation, with stroke. Yeah, in fact, when I was in Changi Hospital, I enjoy dealing with the neuro part of physiotherapy.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the most satisfying.
Ah.
Yeah, because you deal with patients who had stroke,
Right.
and they lose one side of their body, and then you slowly get them in terms of returning to their functional
How,
activities.
what your kind of feel, or what do you feel when you was handling these patients? Do you get emotional? Because some can be very, like what you said, some are stroke recovery, or some are post-cardial infarctions. How do you handle them, or how do you brave yourself? Because I can't, actually. I'm very emo. I just
No, not a lot of people can do the work that you guys do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're seeing broken stuff every day, broken stuff every day, right?
Yeah, that's
Do you
right.
like get?
Sometimes we can get emotional, but at the end of the day, I think we need to stay focused what we want to achieve during that session. So we have to actually be professional to put the emotions aside for us to be able to carry out the duty. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
So I'm going to remember the 650 muscles. I remember 205 because one I just told you
Okay.
is a humerus.
Okay.
I know there's metacarpus,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? Femur,
Yes.
ulnar.
Yeah.
I know there's so many bones, right? Coming back to the bones again, during your exam, do you like have to fill in the blanks and kind of stuff?
Yeah. So what happens is that we have cadavers, like dead bodies, and we have to identify.
Dead bodies.
Yeah.
Did I hear that right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. So we have to identify the muscles, the bones.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's tough, right? Just going back a little bit to the different kinds of physiotherapy, right? So during your studies, do you have to go through every one of them?
Almost all the main physiotherapy.
And then when you go out to work, do you get to choose?
The first, we are rotation, but after that, we're able to specialize on certain things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this sports physiotherapy. So now are you in a sports physiotherapy kind of thing?
Yeah.
So you got to choose that.
No, I actually specialize in manual therapy.
Okay.
So it's a lot of manual work.
Manual therapy.
As a sport physio, Fizah, what sport do you think will cause us more injuries?
Oh.
Because I know different sports like boxing or
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
or long jumps, but is there a particular sport that we want to talk about that may cause a lot of injuries?
Frisbee?
Frisbee?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, frisbee.
Yeah.
You can have like
'Cause you
lots
fly
of
around, right?
ACL.
ACL.
Because
Okay.
of okay.
Right.
Well, that's
shoulder
interesting, man.
injuries, Yeah.
I never heard. I've never like would think that it would be frisbee.
Yeah,
Of
frisbee.
all basketball.
Basketball, yes, of course, but yeah, it's probably just the knees, the fingers. Those are contact sports, of course. You would
Right.
have.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
How about those gymnasts, Fizah? Those standing straight. But
Your kids are doing gymnastics, right?
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. How about gymnastics?
Yeah, they have stress injuries. You
Right.
see lots of stress injuries because of the way they land and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna ask her about your medical stuff, like
Oh, okay. Now we're coming to the medical stuff. In Singapore itself right now, Fizah, a lot of cases are coming up in terms of bone injuries or even with a lot of health issues. Talking about arthritis, what kind of treatment or how can we prevent it?
Yeah.
Because I do hear, because I'm also from the sports and fitness background, a lot of people nowadays seems to have a lot of injuries, a lot of diseases or illnesses. Is there anything particularly for arthritis?
Sadly, arthritis, it's you cannot cure it.
Okay.
But probably you can prevent it and you can probably control. So
Right.
it's a lot of managing the pain, the inflammation, and so it's through exercises,
Okay.
managing your weight. Yeah, so that's what we do with
But can it be ever cured?
no.
No?
No.
Okay.
How about the ITB band syndrome?
Oh, okay, ITB band syndrome. Okay, we have different school of thoughts with
Right.
regards to the ITB syndrome.
Yeah.
Whereby if we release it, do we really release the ITB or do we release the muscles?
Okay,
around it?
hold on, Fizah. For the viewers at home, right? Can you tell us what is the ITB in the first place?
Okay,
Yeah.
so ITB is iliotibial band at the lateral side of your hip.
Yep.
So basically, it's like a band that helps to enclose, the muscles at the front, which is your quadriceps,
Yeah. Right.
as well as the hamstring.
Right.
So it's a very thick band and is usually inelastic.
Mm.
Yeah. So if that structure is very tight, it will cause tension around your knee joint as well, probably your hip.
Right.
Yeah. So previously we were taught that if it's tight, you just use a foam roll or you
Yes.
get somebody's
Right.
elbow and then you really release that ITB.
Yes.
But then we realized that ITB, it's a structure whereby you're not able to, it's not really very flexible.
Because it's inelastic.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, so basically you target on the vastus lateralis that has a lot of trigger points and that's where you worked on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you do lots of patellar mobilizations to help with
Okay.
the tension.
And of course, obviously, people who are playing sports on a very regular basis, I think stretching is very important part
Yes.
in a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
That will prevent them injuries,
Yes, definitely.
right?
Fizah, the dreaded ACL.
Oh yes.
Tell us what the ACL means, and then what is it about, and how do people get it?
Okay. ACL, anterior cruciate ligament. So it's like a ligament that crosses at the front of your, in your knee joint.
Yep.
It joins up together with your posterior cruciate ligament. So ACL as a ligament is a static stabilizer that helps to prevent the knee from going forward
Right.
and into excessive rotation.
Right.
So it's a dreaded injury, for any athlete, not only for soccer players, for any athlete,
Right.
because it can actually cause you to be out of your sports, at least 9 to 12 months.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So from point of surgery,
Mm-hmm.
it takes about 9 months
9 months to 12 months.
for full contact sport, to return to full contact sport.
That's right.
9 months,
That's
right?
right. Yeah, but studies have shown that for a player, we have seen many of our local players
Right.
whereby they just come back from ACL surgery. It will probably take them about a year or even 2 for them to actually get back to their previous performance.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Well, that's a long time,
Long
man.
it is
time.
actually
1 year, yeah?
What is the fastest you've seen a player recover from, and recover and then really do well, not like recover and then whack
Okay.
kena again?
There is one, my captain right now, captain of the national team and
Okay.
captain of
Horace.
LCS, Horace.
How fast?
He actually had it in March, and he returned to play in October.
Which year was that? He had only one, right?
2
Two. And this is the second one or the first one?
second.
March, October, back. That's fast.
Yeah.
And okay, that's a good point, right? I just want to ask you this: is it just because of for whatever it is, maybe by luck, maybe, or is just through mental part and the physical part? Which one is it
I think
actually?
it's both.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's all three.
Damn.
Luck.
yeah,
I
right.
think it's the mental thing, as well as he's very hardworking, very dedicated. He knows what
And the
he
determination as well, I
Yeah.
guess, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this all plays a very important
That's
part.
right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, he
Then,
comes in twice per day just to do his rehab.
Right.
Yeah, and he wants to achieve his goals, and he really, to
is
get-
PCL common as well, Fiza,
Uh,
compared to ACL? Because we hear a lot of ACL,
Right.
but
Okay.
PCL also we are hearing a
True.
bit there and here as well.
Yes, PCL, it depends on the mechanism of the injury.
Yeah.
And it's usually when somebody fall in a flex position,
Okay.
yeah, so it's probably more basketball.
Right.
Yeah, somebody who just land in a flex position. It's very different from ACL.
Yeah.
mechanism.
So that ligament is in the back part of it. That's why it's called
right.
PCL.
Yeah, that's right.
Righty.
Right. Interesting, man.
All right.
What's the worst injury you've seen?
The worst injury, I think it was a head injury. This was in Malaysia. Fazrul Nawas, it was against ATM, and then he was struck on the face.
With what?
Okay.
The boot by opponent.
What was that? A flying kick or what?
Yeah, it was.
So it wasn't football, basically.
I don't think it was football then. Yeah, so he actually he had some fractures at the frontal part of his the skull in the face.
Right.
Yeah, so he was bleeding from the nose.
Oh, that is really, because once it comes out from the nose or even the ears, it's a
That's right. That's right.
And if you don't know who what's his name again? Sorry,
Fazrul.
Fazrul is.
Fazrul, yeah.
He when he came back, he started wearing the
The
headgear.
Headgear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To protect it.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So much of injuries may happen, right? I mean, as a physio, I think everything is in your data or like a computer screen where okay, this has happened, okay, I need to fix this. Is this something that years of experiences had taught you where you are right now?
Yes, I should think so. It's through experience, and learning as well.
Right.
Do you get like do you panic? Like okay, you okay. I just give you an example, right? And this is like an average person because you are experienced, right? Like for me, I go for a CPR course.
Okay.
That's right.
CPR course, right? I can be the top student, right? But just imagine if I see someone lying there on the street, right? I'll panic. I don't care what I did during with the dummy, right? So do you get like those kind of
I guess when I first started, probably.
Yeah?
Yeah, but when I get to see dislocation with a fracture like Shadan, one of the Suzuki Cup,
Yes.
and then you slowly, you have to be calm. I think as the physiotherapist, you're
Yeah.
the first person to respond. You have to remain calm at all times. Yeah. So I think that's very important. You need to give them assurance. Because
True.
if you're panicky,
True.
the player themselves will get.
So you got to be very brave, and you seem to be like cool, right? Rather than you are panicking, right?
Yeah.
Wow. But in your brain, you have all these remedies already. You know what to do, what to do
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, I think that's why it's very important when we do sports coverage. We have
Right.
to observe all the 11 players on the pitch as well as at the bench, so
Okay.
that we know what's happening.
And you also see the signs and symptoms. So if somebody is limping, or if the players are going on and putting his hand in his shoulders or a part of his body, you are reading the signs and symptoms.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And Fizah, tell me your day to day on your typical day as a head physio in LCS. And yeah.
I have to say I'm thankful to have good support staff working alongside with me, like Bansi.
Yes, please tell us the names, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Okay, so
Bansi.
Mr. Bansi, my Masu, who's been working with me since FA days, and then Fazli, our sports trainer,
Yeah.
Hakim, Shay, my rehab trainer. So work start probably 6:30, 6:45 because LCS we train early in the morning.
Right.
When I come in, go to the office, and then I'll check who are the players that I need to see before training. I speak to Shay.
Right.
Who are the players requiring for rehab, and there's a lot of communication between myself as well as the performance side, like Mario and Firdaus, whereby we see who are the players who have soreness and things like that.
Right.
Players start to come in by 7, and then we start to treat them, those who require simple mobilizations for the ankles and things like that.
Right.
So during training sessions, I observe how it's being done, and then we'll catch hold of those players requiring treatment after that. So it probably end about 12:01, and then after that, it's national team duties. If I have players like Jacob and Shaki, who's now coming back from their surgery. Yep. And for example, for today, we are checking in the hotel, and then work starts again with the LCS players at 5 o'clock. Yeah,
Okay.
till night. Yeah.
And
sorry.
then we know stretching is very important
Oh,
on your
yes.
daily day to day.
I hate stretching.
Because of the movement, it's very impact.
Yeah.
But hamstring injuries seems to be very common in
Yes,
football players.
that's right.
So stretching helps.
Okay, so stretching, there are different forms of
Yeah,
stretching.
right.
There's static stretching, there is dynamic stretching, and there are people who stretch for you.
Oh, that's the best part of
PNF, is it?
PNF.
It's PNF, but also now we have like Mr. Stretch and things like that.
Okay.
I've got the
Right.
stretch champion in LCS.
Okay.
But I think it's important to know when to use these different stretches.
Right.
Say you don't do static stretch, before you start your training and things like that. You want to do dynamic stretches.
Okay.
Yeah, similarly, just before a game, you do not want somebody to stretch you so much because you also want the muscles to have, that contractile effect,
Right.
So we need to know when to actually use this different
Looks like a lots of plannings actually. Yeah.
Loads. And again, just one point that Fiza brought up was
Yeah.
the dynamic and
Static, yeah.
stretching, right? And a lot of us and students as well. I teach as well. The static stretching before something is sometimes not good for you, right?
Yeah.
I think it's proven as well. And again, I want to put this out as well out there to listeners and people who are watching this as well. This doesn't really happen at every club here in Singapore. I got to tell you, from my knowledge, from what I know, it doesn't happen, and it's a different ball game altogether, and that's why they are probably the best at the moment, right? Now, I want to ask you this, and it's an important thing as well. How important is your relationship with the head coach and the technical staff? Because you just said that a couple of minutes ago, right, about that part, your relationship. How important is that?
Okay. It is very important.
Yes.
When you're dealing with the healthcare, you're dealing with the players, injuries.
Yeah.
It's important. The key is the communication.
Yeah.
To the performance side, to the coaches, because like I've said right from the start, the coaches, they have their own expectations, they have their own goals, they want their best 11 on the pitch. And the performance, they will see whether these players are available or not.
Yep.
And when we have players who are injured and things like that, we have to be realistic in terms of our goals, when to return to train, return to play. So communication is the
Yes.
key here.
Do you do it every day? I'm talking about not now.
Mm-hmm.
Like in general, were you always in contact with wherever you were, in terms of
Yeah.
football?
Yeah, I think when I first started in FA, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because when you communicate, they know that you know your stuff.
Yeah.
And they
Yes.
start to trust you that okay, so she's doing her work,
Right.
And I guess when we communicate, okay, we can discuss things even better to the best. I mean, basically, we just want the best for the players.
Have you gotten into a quarrel with a coach
Of
before?
course.
Many times? Many
Okay.
times?
Yeah, a few times.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Because the coach wants the player to
Player.
play, right?
yes, that's right.
No, it's a very fine line kind of thing. It's very it's because I am a coach, right?
Yes.
So I understand that part from the coach's point of view, but I also must understand that you are the expert, right? You can't push the player because they're not animals, right? By the way, okay, yes, you're going for the 3 points, you're going for
Yeah.
match bonuses, you're going for
Yeah.
this and that, and so
That's
many
right.
things, right? The title and what, because that's what the coach wants,
Yeah.
right? So how do you it's a tough one, isn't it, Fizah?
Yeah, I think you realize that sometimes it's not always your way. I try to be understanding as well. It is quite difficult because
Yeah.
you want the best for the players in terms of his health and all that, but
Yeah.
you also want to be understanding towards the coach, the management,
Yeah.
the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a balance of both and see
Right.
what's best.
Yes.
So I try to go that way whereby we can solve certain things properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes we do get scoldings and all that.
Yeah.
If you put a player in and he got injured and it becomes Fizah's fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I remember a couple of years ago, not in Singapore, the experience with Jose Mourinho and the
Yeah.
female staff, right?
That's
And she
right,
got
the
sacked
doctor.
because of she's a doctor, right?
She's the doctor.
Yeah, just imagine
Wow.
that, right? And it happens. It's not only in Singapore. It's in professional football, especially when the stakes are high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
But I got to say this, right? I think Fizah's responsibility is huge here.
Of
I think
course.
she's doing all the mental calculations.
course.
If we let this player play, he's going to have that injury. So I think she's doing all this.
Yeah.
What's going to happen the next 30 minutes? Probably it's already in your mind. Or what's going to happen? I think this requires a lot of experiences, Fizah, to say. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes, when I make that decision, okay, and it didn't turn out well, sometimes I go back home and I got upset,
Okay.
but I think that's how it is.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow. And we know that in football itself, most of the injuries happens in hamstrings. But is there any other injuries that involves football players apart from the legs?
Yes. If you look at studies, yes, the highest injury is the most common injury is muscles,
Right.
hamstring and quadriceps. But I think in terms of joints, yeah, it's more lower limb compared to the upper limb.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, you only have a lot. Shoulder dislocations is probably goalkeepers or players who landed awkwardly.
Right.
Yeah, but majority is probably more of the lower limbs.
The lower limbs, which is hamstring.
Yeah.
Calves and calf
Hamstring,
pulls
yeah,
and
but if you
stuff.
compare the different muscles, hamstring is the most common.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is there any difference between the proper pitches and the artificial pitches as well when the
Oh.
players play?
Definitely.
The impact,
Yes.
the unstable ground. So.
Yeah. It's very interesting because Singapore, players, we are so used to play at Jalan Besar, Jurong
Right.
East, it's hard ground, artificial. And when we actually go to other countries whereby we are exposed to the natural turf,
Yeah.
they have to adapt.
Okay.
And this is a concern as well.
Cause injuries as well.
Yeah, because they are so used to hard ground. They had to adapt to that kind of ground, and then they go to a soft ground, and
Yeah.
suddenly they're not able to cope with the sudden change.
What is the ideal ground then? In your opinion, right?
Yeah.
The most ideal one. As a player, I prefer grass, but of course, good grass lah.
Yes,
Basically,
that's
not the
right.
one at Toa Payoh Stadium,
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
But I'm
that's
talking
right.
about real superb grass, right?
yes, that's right. I think they go by a certain degree. in
The
terms-
grades, right?
Yeah, the grades.
Yes.
Yeah, which I'm not really very
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But of course, I think natural grass is the best.
It's the best, right?
Yeah, when we travel overseas, like the one in Qatar or what do you call Dubai, I think that's one of the best.
Top
pitches.
class,
Yeah,
man.
that's right.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you this. Okay, it's not a trick question, right?
Okay.
How about when you go out to treat players, right?
Mhm.
And I'm talking from experience, right? I'm sure there are players who feel injuries. like they go down because of game management. Maybe they are already leading by 2 or leading by 1-0. They want to
Yeah.
play the game out. or for whatever, they're tired, for example. I've seen players go down because they're tired, right? A lot of them in Singapore?
Uh,
Come on, out with it.
now no, but yes, previously yes. Yeah.
Loads of them last time? Yeah. To waste time or because they are tired?
I think it's both.
Yeah?
Yeah,
It's both, yeah?
And I mean, I had a particular coach,
Yeah.
who would actually make the
Call.
the player, go down, go
Yeah.
down, go down.
Right. Which you have no say in lah, basically.
I just run in.
Yeah, speaking of which, right?
Yeah.
How fit are you? Because you have to do this,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
Do you keep yourself in shape?
I try to.
On your own?
But I do. I mean, I do. I do runs. Yeah. I
Right.
Run, yeah.
Okay.
Weights, resistance trainings,
So, yeah.
working the 750 muscles.
You and your muscles.
Something you hate seeing, Fizah, as in an athlete during their recovery period, especially the players.
Good question.
I think for me, it's the lack of discipline.
Right.
Yeah.
Define what is a lack of discipline in recovery.
Okay, in terms of, I think it's important for them to take note that punctuality is one. Yeah, to be dedicated in terms of doing their rehab. Yeah, it's not like I come and then after that the next day I don't come.
Right.
Yeah, and that's quite common here in Singapore.
As in what? As in?
Then in terms of coming for rehab. Yeah, so
But a plan has already been scheduled,
that's right.
and sometimes they don't come. You mean?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, that's hard to take, man. That's hard for me to understand as well, right? Especially you got to take care of yourself as well, and especially with people planning stuff already for you, right? And you don't turn up. It can get to your head.
So now the burning question: if they don't listen, do you get angry?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Do you really get into them?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
And sometimes they're quite afraid of Kak Fizah.
You are fierce.
Yes, I am.
But we see a very softer side of you right here, right now, right? Very friendly and very chill.
interesting. This I didn't know.
Yeah, I am. I can be very fierce.
Okay.
So the boys know like shower.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that.
So
that.
shouldn't step on your nerves, right? Yeah. There you go.
Brilliant. How good does it feel to see someone? It can be a patient, it can be a footballer, it can be anyone, right? Just walk out of your office or your room, your treatment room, being at their best. How good does it feel?
Wow. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm still in football. Wanting to help these boys. Yeah. I think it's really very satisfying to see them back. On the pitch playing their best. Enjoying their football again. I think that's
Beautiful.
very satisfying. Yeah.
Beautiful. On that note, right, I just want to flip it to the other side, right? Have you ever seen like an athlete that did not recover properly under your watch, lah, basically, right? And then, for whatever reason, it can be anything, right?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes when I see those players that were successful, it will actually, somehow I will think of these players who did not make it this far.
So when you say not successful means they just drop out of football altogether, or
Yep,
because of injuries?
because of injury.
That's sad, right?
It is very sad.
And especially, is it because of a lack of, I don't know, wanting to try, or I don't know, lack of preparation for them? What is it? Like why do they fall out?
Probably because of lack of preparation, lack of maybe me giving them the time and attention. Maybe sometimes I reflect.
Okay.
Or probably just the body's not able to take.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons why.
And certain injuries require certain length of recovery. We talked a bit earlier. But, in your process of that rehabilitation happening for your patients or even for the football players, if that, remedy didn't work, will you have a different plans already planned up, like option A, B, and C and D? Or you just go with plan A only?
No, we have to be versatile sometimes.
Right.
So, yeah, we do actually, if let's say this doesn't work, okay, how about doing this instead? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we want to help the player so that they can return back to train, return back to play.
Right.
And we give them the best, options that we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we know that, physio use the tubings, the resistant bands for recovery. Is that one of your stuff that you use for your toys?
There's adjuncts that we use.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So exercise therapy is one of, those.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Right. We don't
Fizah,
want to.
before we wrap it off, right? These are some of the things that people said about you. I've got some. Yeah. So this is someone, right? She's like a big sister to us on and off the field. She's someone you can have a conversation with and have a good laugh together. She looks out for the players' well-being and always goes the extra mile to make sure we are taken care of with regards to any concerns you might have physically. That was from your captain, Horace, right? Next one. Working with her for many years now, she's very dedicated and it's not easy handling so many players, but she made it look so easy and everyone appreciates what she's done. For my recent injury as well, she was constantly checking in on me. Credit to her for my comeback ahead of schedule, Mr. Gabriel.
Oh.
Yeah, and one more. Someone who is sincere and willing to go out of her way to help others. Thankful for everything she's done for the local football scene. An exemplary professional. Wow. Shadan. Last one, right? Fizah is like a mom, elder sister, best friend, confidant, and more to every player in the team. And not just those in the team too, but many a player will reach out to her if they need anything. Be it injury related or just a listening ear. That is what makes her special, and players always know that they are in good hands. And it's critical too at some of their most vulnerable moments when they are scared or confused at the point of sustaining an injury. Wow. That was Eric, team manager. Yeah. Well, that speaks a lot about you, Fizah. I think that is why you probably are inspiring, very inspiring, and probably to the next generation of physiotherapy therapists as well, right?
And obviously, I learned something from you today. To be very composed, very calm. But at the same time, I can also be the other side.
Yeah.
So please do not press on her nerves. Players who are listening this,
True.
listen to her, and whatever she says, make sure you do it. Recovery or preventive. Listen, because she is the expert.
Right. It's very important that we know that as well. And to the players, don't be late for her session.
Yeah.
Very important. Sure.
And also the warm up, bro. Warm up and stretching. We talked about it. Right?
Don't step on the nerves. Okay, before we go, Van, you want to answer the very last question that we have?
Okay, any advice for the young physiotherapists looking to do great job like you, or the upcoming ones, or probably thinking of taking up that physiotherapy course?
Advice. I think you need to have lots of patience, dedication.
Right.
I think dedication is very important.
Yeah.
I think the intention is also very important. Why you want to be a physiotherapist?
Right.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, physiotherapy is a journey. You learn along the way, and I think, it's basically you'll enjoy it if you have the passion to help others.
Right.
Well, that was nicely said, Fizah. And I like the part that we talked about, the intention part. That is very true, right? In whatever we do, we don't want to be going in there thinking of just the money, because of course it's important, but just because of the money and stuff like that, because you won't go far, because there's reputation at stake and stuff like that. And thank you so much, Fizah, for being here on our special collab episode. We've never done this before, by the way. I've never seen him before in my life as well. Before this, I've never met him.
In fact, today is the first time we are meeting each other.
Okay.
Right.
But what's a common thing is mine is a bit black here and he's a bit silver. So you understand why the podcast is named under Silverfox.
So thank you so much again, Fizah. I think it has been very educational as well. Talking about club football, how you go about your day-to-day job as well, and hopefully the upcoming physiotherapy, we have more like you around, so that we can help the next generation of footballers as well. This has been episode number 73 of the Kopi with Fox podcast, we'll call it.
That's right.
This time around.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Van, for being here.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much.
And till the next episode, please, of course, click on the follow button on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. We are there and everywhere. And till the next episode, the hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. Cheers.
Cheers.